1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this one is song 3 from junior level 2, and it's called Guitar Boogie. So this one I just played at 120 BPM, as recommended in the book, and it's a nice pace to get to for everyone. In terms of playing tips on this one, the first is, as always, we're going to be bracing. Really, really important that we got a nice close contact to the strings here with those fingers out. I know this one could be a bit of a reach because we're playing these thicker strings, so you've got to reach over a bit more. But then again, because we're not playing any of these thinner strings, we could actually touch them as well. If it's really a stretch, feel free to be touching that first string. Apart from that, something which is absolutely vital in this song is that we are doing alternate picking. Just like our picking exercises, we're going down, up, down, up, down, up on the strings throughout the whole song without any change from down, up, down, up, down, up. Down, up, 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 down, up. That never changes throughout the whole song. One other thing about what I played for you a moment ago is that I ended with the open E string at the end, just so it feels nice and rounded off. That is not in the method there. Other tips in terms of our fretting hand here is that we've actually moved our hands to a different position of the neck for the most part. For the majority of this song, we've moved. We usually have our first finger covering everything on the first fret there, second finger, everything on the second fret, third on the third, and so on. But for the majority of this song, there's not much on the first fret. So what we do is we move from this position, the first position, like this, bam, up one to the second position. That means that for most of this song, if you see something on the second fret, we're going to use our first finger. If you saw something on the third fret, we would use our second finger, but actually there's nothing in this song on the third fret. So then we use our third finger for anything on the fourth fret. Another reason we do this is if we were in the first position, we would have to use our little finger a lot. Little finger, which if you want to do that as an exercise to work on your little finger to get it stronger, by all means do that. That's a really good thing to do. But 99% of the time, if you saw someone performing this, they would be up in the second position. These fingers are stronger and they always will be stronger, really. Okay, you might have noticed that I said most of the time we're going to be in here. There is one exception to that. It's in the third line of the song in the book, where we go to this note, the fifth string second fret. I moved my hand back a fret to this first position and hit that second fret with my second finger. The reason I did that is because of the next note is a 1, is on the first fret. So I moved back there so that my first finger was ready to hit that. And then we are actually going to hit that fourth fret with the little finger that time. Great, I hope that was all clear. And I think that's it for the playing tips. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the chords of the song. I'm going to tell you how to play them yourself afterwards. But I'm going to play them because it's really, really good fun to play this tune along to accompanying chords. I'm also going to play this twice through now, so loop the whole thing when you're playing along. Yeah, here we go. I'll play the chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope that made sense and you're able to play along. Now, this tune is following the what we call the 12-bar blues. If you count the bars along the song, you'll notice there's 12 of them, and this is a very classic chord progression, which a lot of popular music is based on. And the chords for this, there's always, or most of the time, there's 3 chords, and the 3 chords we're going to use for this are E7, A7, and B7. And these are tricky. These are absolutely tricky. And again, like some other songs we've done, these chords are actually beyond what I would expect of a junior level 2 to be able to do easily. So if you can do them, good job. And if you're finding them tricky, don't worry, they are tricky. So let's talk about these chords. The first one, the E7, we're going to strum with from the open 6th string, the E string. We're going to have our second finger on the 5th string 2nd fret, and we're going to have our first finger on the 3rd string 1st fret. We're going to strum all the strings from this low E string. It's called an E7 chord, an E7 chord, and this is our E string. We do that for 4 bars in this tune, and then we're going to go to an A7 chord. The movement here is we're going to take our first finger off, move this second finger to the 4th string 2nd fret, and then we're going to bring in our 3rd finger. See, it goes there on the 2nd string 2nd fret. This is an A7 chord, and because it is, we're going to strum from the open A string, the 5th string. We're going to do that for 2 bars. So E7 for 4 bars, A7 for 2. That was very quick and not really in time, but no worries. And the last chord is a B7 chord. Now this is a very, very tricky chord. It's using all of our fingers, 4-finger chord. How it goes is the 2nd finger goes on the 5th string 2nd fret. That's the same place it went for the E7 chord. Then the 1st finger goes on the 4th string 1st fret, and then the 3rd finger goes on the 3rd string 2nd fret, and then your little finger for this one is going to go on the 1st string 2nd fret, and we're going to strum from this 5th string. B7 chord. It's going to take some time building that, so you know the best way to build and work on any of these chords is to make the chord, give it a strum, put your hand on your knee, make the chord again. Keep doing that until you can just put it on all in one motion, and that will take a long time, really, really long time. Between these chords, we've got some nice moves. So we're doing the E7. I spoke about the E7 to A7 move before. This 2nd finger is going to go to that 4th string, and then we're going to bring in our 2nd finger. And we go back to the E7, 3rd finger off, 2nd finger is moving from the 4th string to the 5th string, and then 1st finger goes to the 3rd string 1st fret. Now the change in the song goes, it's E7s, then a couple of A7s, back to E7, and then we go to this B7. So the change we want to get down is from the E7 to the B7. So here's the E7. The way I like to do this is we're going to keep this 2nd finger where it is. It stays in the same place. The 1st finger is going to come off and it's going to move to the 4th string 1st fret. So it's a little move there from the 3rd string to the 4th string. Then the other fingers come on as I explain them. The 3rd finger onto the 3rd string 2nd fret, and then the little finger onto the 1st string 2nd fret. So the move should look like this from E7. 2nd finger stays, 1st finger moves, and then the others go on. And now we've got another change which we haven't done before, from the B7 chord to the A7 chord. There's an easy trick to this, or easy-ish anyway, it makes it easier, is if you think about the A7 chord shape, it actually exists within this shape already. These two fingers, the second and third fingers, are already both on the second fret, and they're both a string apart. One of them's on the fifth string, one of them's on the third string. So the way I like to change, and that looks like the A7, but we just have to pop those fingers to thinner strings. So after the B7, we're going to try and take off the first finger like that, take off the little finger, and then these two fingers, they're currently on strings 5 and 3. Try and keep the shape the same and just kind of jump them onto strings 4 and 2. I think that's all, and I hope that made sense. If it didn't make sense, as always, that's because of maybe I didn't explain it well enough, and also because it's tricky stuff, and we need to go over this again and again and again, all of these tricky topics before we completely understand them. So if you're finding any of this tricky or confusing, it's totally normal, it's totally okay, and just stick with it, and we'll be playing these chords and all these tunes in no time. Thanks, see you later.